We got another theories on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube that will make us question reality, question life, rethink everything. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. Thank you, Retro, for the video.
Welcome to what may very well be one of the most important videos we've ever made.
Uh-oh.
Now, in order to even begin this video, I must first establish this disclaimer. This video is a set of hypotheses, an exploration of the world, and while many ideas will be explored, what we are sharing here is not meant to be taken as definitive truth. We're not claiming this is entirely made up of facts. Rather, we are attempting to explore a deeper, perhaps darker, area of human consciousness and see the bigger picture of what is really going on. Please have your own experience, do your own research, and don't be afraid to go deeper down the rabbit hole, for the truth is often stranger than fiction. There's no denying that the collective human consciousness is in quite of a pickle today. It is chaotic and overtaking itself and all of nature. Because of the internet, we have nearly real-time access to information, and yet most people are only seeing a particular slice of the story. For example, the algorithms behind what you find when you use Google, Facebook, YouTube, and almost every other social network are designed to show you what you're already looking for, or what the computer code thinks you want to see based on other people's behavior. Unless you're actively searching for new information, to find something different, or follow someone who is creating content that is going down rabbit holes and sharing what they find, what you get is generally what you're already accustomed to seeing. You only see what you want to see. Further, due to the controversial nature of many ideas, especially those labeled as conspiracy theories, many ideas are not explored by the masses, because when they hear about it, they see that these ideas are ridiculed and they write them off as nonsense or dangerous extremism. Following the herd mentality makes it easier to dismiss exploring new ideas, so people can easily go along with their lives. This is critical because the ability to change one's belief changes your experience of life, and most people are happy just letting things be as they are. A minority of people are compelled to seek higher truth at all cost, and certainly most of us know that sometimes it can be very hard to empathize with those who choose comfort over following their passions.
Right.
As the saying goes, you can take a horse to water, but you can't make
him
it
drink
drink.
it.
And trying to convince others to think differently only leads to distress on everyone's part. As many ancient texts will suggest, this is not how true wisdom is passed on. This creates a sort of self-created deception and distraction from the bigger picture, which is rarely explored. If you're already familiar with spirit science, we've talked before about how everything is connected. This was even a fundamental part of my own awakening, where I had a transcendent experience that all things were one, unified and stemming from and linking to a singular greater whole. Yet today, and the struggle of human consciousness, is that most people are not seeing it, simply not looking, or not even wanting to look. In modern science today, there are many scientists searching for an all-pervading theory of everything, something that unifies quantum mechanics and the theories of relativity.
The only thing that pops up on the top of my head that Yahuwah just put is Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because we're so used to being in a certain state. We're so used to like having certain information, stuff that we were told, stuff that we've been doing for years, for decades, that has become like a family tradition, that we don't want to look outside of that. We want to stay in the box. But remember, to grow, we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So it's when you step out of your comfort zone is when things start to flourish, things start to uproot, things start to take off. But Romans 12:2 is what I get out of that.
Yet today, and the struggle of human consciousness, is that most people are not seeing it, simply not looking, or not even wanting to look.
This part too, y'all.
In modern science today, there are many scientists searching for an all-pervading theory of everything, something that unifies quantum mechanics and the theories of relativity. And so today, we respectfully present to you the conspiracy theory of everything. I invite you to watch this with the intention of self-reflection, for as is the nature of consciousness itself, pointing the finger and blaming others only creates more of the same cycle that we've been trapped in.
I'm learning.
Liberating ourselves from the illusion is the only way to really break free of the shackles that bind us to our lower state of being. Our conspiracy theory of everything begins first with the demiurge. The demiurge is an ancient Greek and Gnostic concept describing a consciousness that is considered to essentially be the creator of the physical universe, but not the supreme creative force behind all things. A good way to explore this idea is through The Matrix, a science fiction story that suggests everything we think we know of as the real world is nothing but an illusion, a false world within which most are imprisoned, unable to effectively identify what is real. As people go about their day-to-day lives, they think that their world is authentic, but that every individual is truly plugged into an artificial reality severed from the real world. While people suffer, there is a tremendous benefit to the ruling overlords, who in the film were a form of AI. As it relates to us, this AI is in essence the demiurge. The demiurge was described as a force, a deity, or a consciousness who was responsible for the creation of the physical world and reality. However, in a way, it had imposed itself over top of the true reality, the supreme oneness that created all things. In this, it was a false god who had assumed authority over the world, masking the living beings, namely us, from the supreme truth, the highest order of creation, and making us believe that what we experienced as real, the physical reality that we are a part of, was the true, authentic reality, even though it wasn't.
Some facts. The created at least 40 new big pharma billionaires. Pharmaceutical corporations like Moderna and Pfizer made $1,000 of profit every second from the... More than two-thirds of Congress received campaign funding from pharmaceutical companies in the 2020 election. Pfizer chairman Albert Bourla told Time magazine in July 2020 that his company was developing for the good of humanity, not for money. And of course, Pfizer made $100 billion in profit in 2022. And may I just mention that finally, and this is also a fact, that you, the American public, funded the development of that. The German public funded the BioNTech of. When it came to the profits, they took the profits. When it came to the funding, you paid for the funding. It's difficult not to...
but I will just add one thing. It is possible that these are greedy capitalists who made a lot of money.
All I'm querying is this.
Yes.
Is if you have an economic system in which pharmaceutical companies benefit hugely from medical emergencies, where a military-industrial complex benefits from war, where energy companies benefit from energy crises, you are going to generate states of perpetual crisis, where the interests of ordinary people separate from the interests of the elite.
Isn't he canceled? Did they cancel him? I swear was some information going about like around where he was canceled. I could be wrong. Maybe this is not the right person. His name is Russell, right? Yeah, Russell Brand was canceled. Why? I got my answer, but I want to know the answer that they gave to the world on why he was canceled. Did that make sense? Like, what was the message that they put out about Russell Brand? Like, oh, he's canceled because of ... when in reality it was because he's canceled because he was exposing the truth.
Ain't no way everyone here is a real person. Life is a simulation and a legitimate professor has proved it. James Gates, a theoretical physicist at MIT with 2 bachelor degrees and a PhD, found literal computer code embedded in the most fundamental building blocks of reality called strings. Now, string theory is a tough one, but I'm gonna break it down for you in a way that an 11-year-old would understand. So if you don't get this, hey, go back to grade 5, bro. Alright, so we got my boy Einstein's theory of general relativity, which is basically just a theory of everything big. Planets, gravity, the universe, all the way back to the Big Bang. Then we got the new kid in town, quantum physics. This is the theory of everything small, like particles, atoms, and molecules, where the general laws of physics, like gravity, don't apply anymore. The same is true the other way around. Quantum laws don't apply to regular-sized physics. So we got general relativity, everything big, and quantum physics, everything small. But both of these realms have the same parent, the Big Bang, at which point everything that is now big used to be small. If the small can become big, then quantum and general relativity need some sort of theory that can unify them. That is string theory. What happens to the big when it's small? What happens when you zoom into an atom? You see protons and neutrons in the center with electrons all around it. Now, what about inside a neutron? Even smaller particles called quarks. So how deep does the scale go? Conventional science will tell you there's nothing inside these quarks. But string theory suggests there's a tiny filament or a string of pure energy that exists inside of them. And just like the string of a guitar vibrates and creates different sound based on its shape and tension, the strings in string theory vibrate. But instead of sound, they produce matter in the form of particles. This completely changes the way you look at the world. Every particle in the universe is just a string vibrating at a different frequency. And every vibrational pattern has its own associated particle. So if you break anything down far enough, we're all just energy vibrating at differing wavelengths to form matter. Although it's still just a theory, this would link general relativity to the quantum realm and form what is known as the theory of everything. Okay, yeah, cool. Now where is this computer code found? When Dr. James Gates took a look at a set of equations derived from string theory, he found binary code. Error-correcting code used for compressing data on a computer. A sequence of ones and zeros, the same code that is used by popular search engines, which, according to him, who has a PhD in theoretical physics from MIT, doesn't just resemble computer code, it literally is computer code. Meaning, if we break matter and energy down far enough, we eventually find compressing computer code etched into the very fabric of reality. So, who wrote this code? Are we living in, dare I say, a simulation?
Are we living in a simulation?
Here are some more of the wildest what-if theories. What if we can't breathe in space because they don't want us to escape? Who is they? And escape where? Where am I going? Pretty sure we can't breathe up there because there's no oxygen. Simple science. What if everything behind you disappears, but when you turn back around, it reappears?
Imagine?
I'm gonna be honest, I've always thought about this, but then I always think about mirrors. A mirror is literally showing me what is behind me. Unless that's what the mirror wants me to think. Lastly, what if, when we die, the light at the end of the tunnel is the light to another hospital room? There we are born, and the only reason you come out crying is because you remember everything from your past life, and you're crying at the fact that you died and lost everything. I'm sorry, excuse me? That sounds completely accurate. I quite literally feel like that's what happens.
It's just a thought, and it's so funny because this thought that I had actually popped up in a movie, and I was like, are you telling me something? I had like a theory or just a thought where I'm like, what if we died and kind of came back to life in another way? Meaning, you see that this is my flesh or my vessel, right? So if I died in this flesh and vessel, then if I was to come back, I would live a completely different life. I could be a woman, I could be a male, I could be an animal. I don't know where this came from. I just thought, because I was like, what if life is like reoccurring? It's like a subscription that you can't cancel. What if like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. It's mind-blowing thinking about it. Now, am I saying that I believe this? No, it was interesting to kind of think about. Like, what if we died, y'all, and came back and had to live on Earth again in another form, or we had to be birthed again and had to live as a child to a teenager to an adult? Like, what if that was really a thing? How would you feel? So are you thinking that you escaping and leaving the Earth, then you coming right back in the simulation? Now, don't take what I say and run. No, it just was a thought. Do I believe in this thought? No, it just was something that popped up. But it was a movie that I watched. I forgot what the movie's called, but when I edit, I'll add it. I'll add a picture here. And long story short, it was showing how this girl was able to kind of see her past lives and the male, but they showed the woman. And they showed her, and she lived, when I tell you, a multiple set of lives. She had, yeah. So, in other words, I'm just gonna put the movie here, and I don't want to explain too much because I don't want to butcher it. But yeah, carry on.
Ever heard of the phantom time hypothesis? It's a theory that suggests we've been living a lie. The hypothesis is a historical conspiracy theory proposed by German historian Heribert Illig in 1991. According to Illig, we are not living in the 21st century, but rather in the 18th century. Sounds crazy, right? The theory suggests that the early Middle Ages, 614 through 911 AD, never happened and were fabricated by the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III, Pope Sylvester II, and possibly the Byzantine Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII. They allegedly altered the existing calendar to place themselves at the special year of 1000 AD, creating a phantom time of 297 years that never existed. Illig's hypothesis is based on the scarcity of archaeological evidence that can be reliably dated from the years 614 through 911, the perceived inadequacies of radiometric and dendrochronological methods of dating this period, and the over-reliance of medieval historians on written sources. The phantom time hypothesis is widely dismissed by mainstream historians and scholars. It contradicts verifiable historical and archaeological data from around the world, and the Gregorian calendar we use today, introduced by Pope Gregory XIII in 1582, is widely accepted as accurate. So, what do you think?
And
are we living in a
not.
fabricated timeline?
The Gregorian calendar that we have is all types of messed up. People have been trying to change calendars and times from the beginning. They have messed us up with them saying that Monday is the first day of the week. Monday is not the first day of the week. Sunday is the first day of the week. I'm saying this to say because it goes back to biblical times. When Yahuwah gave us the command to rest on the Shabbat, everyone automatically thinks that Shabbat is on Sunday. Shabbat is on Saturday. It's so much proof I can give out. What I'll give you, if you want to look it up yourself, is look up how to say Saturday in every language. It's going to basically have the root word of Sabbath in the Saturday.
Water, the second most vital element.
It's just crazy how much they be lying to us about. And then they lie so much. It's like, did y'all not expect for us to get this? Did y'all not expect for somebody to wake up and give us this information and wisdom? Like, I just really want to know their motive. Like, did they really have a motive where they're like, okay, we're going to lie to them and they're never going to wake up? You didn't think somebody was going to be like, hey, hold on, something's not clicking here.
Remember when y'all laughed about this conspiracy theory?
We are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on.
One of the most popular conspiracy theories that surfaced on the internet in 2020 is that Victoria's Secret was tracking women by putting tracking devices in the bras and lingerie sold in their stores. In 2020, a video went extremely viral with a woman showing that there was a tracking device inside her Victoria's Secret bra. That video got several million views and 3 million likes, but it's since been deleted. The video depicted a tracking device like this one inside of her Victoria's Secret bra. Victoria's Secret did respond to these allegations and said that yes, it's true, they have tracking devices in their bras and lingerie, but it is not to track women and potentially traffic them like the conspiracy theories.
So then what's it about?
Victoria's Secret set the record straight and said that these tracking devices are only used to track inventory in the store and help with theft prevention. However, since these are technically tracking devices, somebody could theoretically hack into Victoria's Secret's system and steal all their data, and then they would have access to all of these tracking devices.
That's so true. Because like y'all bras is not that popping. I mean, I understand like that was a good lie. I do like it. That does make sense. It's to track their inventory, but it's like, okay, then take it out because now I bought it. I haven't shouted nobody out in a minute. I'm just letting y'all know I haven't forgot. It's just that Retro was just going in on sending videos. So these are all his videos.
So I had a Zeus conspiracy theory that I shared on my YouTube page, and my subscribers was really interested and wanted to go deeper on it. So I'm just gonna share it here on TikTok. So basically how I got to this theory is because every time we see these auditions, there's always some type of story time of the girls who went there, and they all say the same thing. It's always bad energy, demonic energy. Like majority of the story times I see people are always saying like Zeus is low vibrational, the energy felt wicked, it just felt off. So I just got to thinking, I was like, okay, why do they always say this about this network? So then I started thinking, okay, well let's start with the name itself. Why do they call themselves Zeus? Well, if you don't know, Zeus Network is named after a Greek god, Zeus. And if you don't know the story of Zeus, basically with this Greek god, you know, he had a daughter. Zeus had a daughter named Pandora, and before Zeus left this earth, he gave his daughter like a jar or a box, right? But basically his specific orders to Pandora was like, do not open this box. And you know, Earth was cool, you know, she was living good, Pandora was living her life. One day, curiosity got the best of Pandora, and she opened that box. And when she opened that box up, it got real. That jar or box, it contained all the wickedness and evilness and like destruction in that jar. And when she opened it, she released all of that to the earth. And that's how we get the term Pandora's box. So in the story of Zeus, Pandora opened this box and released the wickedness and destructionist. Zeus Network produces and create the craziest type of content. When it didn't start off like this, and we the consumers being nosy, we checked out this network and it looked kind of like what poured out. Now, I'm not saying Zeus is like the root cause of all this, because you know, we grew up on reality shows and we grew up on like Bad Girls Club, but they was never as eerie. Zeus Network can be eerie sometimes. And a lot of people say the same thing. Their spirit feel disturbed afterwards, and it glorifies and put on a pedestal a lot of things that normally shouldn't be glorified. And just look at the after effect of people who show up to these auditions just to spiritual warfare. I don't know. It's just a little theory. It's a little jokey joke. You know, I could be reaching. I just want to talk about, especially as someone who has reviewed these shows on my platform. So, yeah.
Have you heard of the theory about siblings?
No.
So you know in a family, like say there's 3 kids, right? You have the oldest, the middle, and the youngest. Well, scientists have found that the order you're born in, like your birth order, can actually tell your future.
What do you mean?
So I read this article and scientists found that the oldest child is actually a really good leader in business, very competitive, and found that they make a lot of money. And most of them work in government, law, or in the medical field. And they found that half of the Nobel Peace Prize winners are actually the oldest child in their family.
I bet the youngest child is the best though, huh?
Just wait. So the middle child is found to actually be really good at negotiating, the rebellious, and they're found to be closer to their friends than they are their family. They're also the most level-headed out of all their siblings. Famous people that are middle children are Martin Luther King Jr. and Bill Gates.
I'm still waiting for the youngest child.
Okay, so the youngest child has been found to be very charming, creative, and funny, but can be very manipulative when they want to get their way. You'll like this. It's also found that the youngest child is found to make more money than the middle child and the oldest child. Some famous celebrities that are the youngest child in their family is Harry Styles and Ariana Grande.
Now everyone's just going to send this to their siblings and it's going to create a huge argument.
This is like one of the scariest, I guess, legends in the country. And it's in New Jersey. You ever heard of like Devil's Tree?
No.
So there's a tree in Bernard's Township.
I never heard of it. Cool, I'll never go over there.
So they said this tree is so cursed. If you touch it, you die. If you like disrespect it, like put graffiti on it or do something vandalize, you get cursed. So basically, there was a farmer that killed his whole family, and then he hung himself on that tree. And then there was supposedly like a secret, like an evil that used to live on that land in the 1920s. They used to people and them on that tree. When it snows, that tree never gets covered in snow. Like everything's covered in snow except that tree. People try to chop it down, people try to burn it, but like it will never go down. Like there's like a big chop mark and there's like burn marks on it. And like people don't know what happened to those people that tried to do it. They think they died or something happened to them. If that's real, bro,
guess what? We're not going to Bergenstein.
Bernard Street.
I'll mess with him because he not with it.
Melanin right now, I think is at $463 a gram. Melanin is more expensive than gold right now per gram.
Dang.
You have 150 trillion cells in your body. Each trillion cells in your body have melanin particles and melanin fragments in it. You are a walking gazillionaire. So now it makes sense why we coming up missing. We coming up missing and we missing the organs that have most of the melanin in it. You have more melanin in your heart and in your internal organs than you have in your skin. And they are taking it, man. Have y'all ever Googled the statistics of how many black women get abducted and they never find them a year? Like y'all should whip out y'all phones and start looking up this stuff, man. It will blow your mind. Most of the time the body is decomposed. Lately, within the last 5 years, they starting to pull our teeth from our skull. Don't know what they doing with our teeth, but they're pulling our teeth from our skull.
Wisdom teeth.
Y'all ain't hear about them 85 black women that just came up missing from Oprah Winfrey School? Where they at? Yeah. It's an evil world we living in that they ever tell us is. And one of them is that food pyramid, that dairy is good for the bones and calcium. Literally, milk actually strips the bone of calcium.
That's
Look at the sun because it will make us go blind. Everything they ever have told us is a lie. They tell us that our heart is a pump. Your heart is not a pump. Your heart is a valve. Your lungs is a pump that pumps the blood to the heart. The heart is a valve mechanism that controls the cardio output of blood. Everything they tell us about everything is a lie. They tell you your hair is just hair. No, our hair is non-ether hair. It is actually an extension of your nervous system. It is used to scan the environment, and it brings all of these different melanin neurotransmitters back to your skin to tell you whether to actually engage in the environment or take fight or flight and run away. That's why you get gut feelings. That's why when you see paranormal activities, the hair on your skin stand up. So everything that they ever told us about ourselves is a lie.
Here's a major thing that they don't tell you about the Social Security number. Book reference. That's why the whole system operates off debt, because we're under a fiat debt currency system. And this is just one of the things they don't tell you about the Social Security number. So if you like this video, share this out, comment your thoughts, and follow for more informative content like this video. Peace.
End-time Bible prophecies being fulfilled. In the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 18, the Bible talks about signs of the second coming of Jesus, with one being, I will make rivers flow on barren heights and springs within the valleys. I will turn the desert into pools of water and the parched ground into springs. Well, you see, as impossible as it may sound, this river just exploded out of nowhere in the Middle Eastern desert, fulfilling the 2,500-year-old prophecy right in front of our eyes. And even though many people don't believe in the Bible, maybe we should all start taking the book seriously.
Should, because that's the book that's going to tell you the end from the beginning. That's the only book that you will read that will read you. That's the book on how it will tell you how to live this life and the life to come. That's the book that's going to teach you about the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the book that's going to teach you righteousness from wickedness. Shall I continue? The Bible is mind-blowing. The Bible is a book that you can never read front and back. Okay, I'm done.
If you feel freezing and suddenly start to feel really warm with no explanation as to why do not remove your clothes, your body is spending its last energy before dying to heat you up. If a tornado is headed right for you, hide in your bathtub. Facts that could save your life. I guarantee you won't know the last one. If you're at your house at night and someone broke in, turn off the lights. You know your way around your house better than they do.
That's true.
You can now see if you're being tracked on TikTok. Simply tap on share and then click more. If an unknown app pops up, delete it immediately. By commenting speechless, you'll unlock a new secret TikTok emoji. If you vomit and it looks like coffee grounds, go to the ER fast. Your body is internally bleeding. If you don't follow me, this is probably the last time we'll ever see each other. Good luck in life. If you get stabbed, do not take the knife out. All the blood will spill out and you will bleed to death. When you're using the stairs, do not put your hands in your pockets.
Why?
You won't be able to catch yourself if you fall. If you are worried about your plane crashing, sit in the back of the plane in the middle seat. You will have the highest chance of surviving.
Wait. Sit in the back of the plane in the middle seat. Isn't it funny how first class is in the red? I just feel like on a plane there is no safe spot, but apparently there is. It really is survival rates. That is okay. I never knew that. Thank you, DeAndre, for the video.
So we about to use Trash Panda. All right, we here in Target and Publix to use this app called Trash Panda. You can scan food items with it and it'll let you know the potentially harmful ingredients that's in them and everything. Yeah, the same ones you can't pronounce. So I used to love these jumps. All right, let's scan to see what's in these for real. Damn. Them ingredients look like a scripture. Let's click an ingredient. Dicalcium phosphate, potentially harmful. An inorganic compound. Excess can increase the risk of heart attacks and link the negative impact on bone health. Soy protein isolate. Sunflower oil could cause inflammation. Sheesh. Just trying to learn about this. Just 4 real ingredients. Barcode scanner. Yeah. All right, it got added sugars, but look at the difference. Damn. You grown though. All right, y'all always ask me what's some good products that we could use that doesn't have as many harmful ingredients in it. Now I got a customized grocery list with healthier alternatives, along with other grocery lists that's specific to stores and categories. To have access to all this and save a lot of time shopping, looking through products, you have to be a premium member on the Trash Panda app. Gluten and dairy is detected on there as well. You could go premium for free for 7 days. Then it's $29.99 for the year, but use code MOLEGENDS10 for $10 off for the year. Click link in bio for app.
See, I was gonna get that. I was about to pull out my phone and look up Trash Panda, but heard them prices kind of got me. But that is very interesting to know that there are apps out there that will tell you if you're eating on foods that you can't even basically pronounce what's in it. Literally, that's a red flag for me. If I cannot pronounce what's in the food that I'm eating that I bought, then I'm not buying it. I'm sitting there reading and the ingredient list is this big. I don't even want it no more because now I gotta. And then I'm mispronouncing and don't even know what this is. Like, it's just crazy what they're doing to our foods and what they're putting in them. All this just to sell. Like, that's why I'm like, if you gotta do all that to sell your product, then your product's not worth it.
It's perfect. I have an easy answer for that. It's because they were never white to begin with. These are the real Jews. So please tell me, what part of Africa is this guy from? They were never taken from Israel. They were taken from the African continent, stood in the African continent to slave in Egypt. And then they escaped Egypt to walk 40 years on the desert, which only takes 5 days. Not to disrespect Moses because he is written in our Quran, but he had to be the worst navigator in the world. So these Israelis are trying to say they've been there since the beginning of time, but yet they rate second highest in skin. That's because you have no DNA to that country. Your skin ain't used to that sun.
Well,
you guys want to leave Israel black and want to return white. So please tell me, where is this kid from?
From the mountains of Caucasus. That is a Slavic baby, a Viking.
This brother makes perfect.
Thank you, DeAndre, for the video.
So we just had a very interesting interview before the commercial break with an anthropologist and a community leader of the Lemba community in Zimbabwe. You talk a lot about this. You do a lot of coursework. What do you have to say first about the Lemba and what makes them unique as opposed to some of the other groups that are considered lost tribes?
Correct. Lemba are fascinatingly unique because we could trace them directly to the oldest Jewish exile community in the world from Yemen. And the Yemenite Jewish community, when they came back to Israel, they had customs that were preserved for 2,000 years uninterrupted. Even some of their pronunciation of Hebrew letters were unique as far as how the Ashkenazim and Sephardim pronounced their letters, but no one challenged them saying it's unauthentic. It was as authentic it can get. And so when you see the Lemba all the way down to the bottom of Africa, tracing their roots to the Yemenite Jewish community, building in the same structures and having certain traditions that are the same, and like no one else in South Africa, it shows you the far-reaching scale of these Israelite customs and traditions. And not to mention, obviously, we speak about the genetic Kohen phenomenon amongst the Lemba people, that a large percentage of them have a genetic marker to be from the Kohanim, from the priests of Israel.
I forgot I posted this. Y'all, do y'all know who these two kids are? Boom. Bingo. Thank you, Levo, for the video.
Breaking news, the president declaring a national emergency.
The new stay-at-home order.
We will shut you down.
Don't think you can get on a plane or a train.
This is a of the.
We will take you to jail.
We've got to get them.
Or we will keep you in a facility longer.
As the world was descending into synchronized tyranny,
whoa, wait a minute. That really happened? They sat here and had a band concert and was in like these basically
was descending into synchronized tyranny. I began to ask myself, how did they get everyone to go along with this?
Oh, it feels so good. I know.
Obsessed with finding the answer, I began studying every moment in recorded history where masses of people acted against their own self-interest.
The only mechanism that could explain what was happening in society,
screw your freedom, you're a schmuck,
was what is usually referred to as mass formation.
Here we are now with an economy in crisis, but with an incredible opportunity.
Unprecedented opportunity.
For a reset.
Your Royal Highnesses, distinguished heads of state and government, the future is built by us. We need a great reset.
When they say, you'll be happy, what they mean is, you'll be enslaved.
Today, we have the technology to hack human beings on a massive scale.
Who masters those technologies will be the master of the world.
Those who control the data control the future, not just of humanity, but the future of life itself.
Every aspect of our life has been infiltrated by people that do not have our best interests at heart.
There are forces using fear and isolation to induce mass psychosis.
I don't want you to be hopeful.
Environmental doom.
Fires.
I want you to panic.
Storms. It will kill your children.
I want you to feel the fear I feel every day.
People are starting to wake up. They're starting to wake across the world.
I'm seeing people come together from all walks of life, finally saying enough is enough.
We didn't come here for no reason. We have a voice, and we're here to share it.
We have to be the solution. We cannot rely on the media, the president, or whoever to fix these problems.
I would rather pick up cans on the side of the highway than to live out of alignment with my truth.
We're all being driven back to the dream.
As you see in the audience, Democrats, Republicans, white, black, everyone all in between, this is the example that they do not want to see, but they have no choice.
The masses of humanity have been slapped awake. Open your eyes.
It's time to wake up.
They took the thing off.
This is the Great Awakening.
That's so movie. I gotta
People
see.
cannot go back into the Matrix now.
Yeah, you
A lot
really
of people
can't.
are trying to. They can't.
I want to see that. Has anybody watched that? DeAndre, you're cold for this. I never wanted one, but I know if DeAndre posted it, it's not for a good reason. So let's go ahead and watch what the septum ring theory is all about.
Let's talk about septum ring theory. For the record, I created the term. Like most ideas that don't do the community any good, they started here, in academia. Or as I like to call it, wackademia. There's a strain of the humanities and in certain threads of feminism that label all males, regardless of their socioeconomic status, as predators or potential predators or patriarchs. These theories mostly stayed in the academic sphere until the 1980s, when certain materials and certain books and movies began to move these ideas out into the wider world. Even then, they didn't gain a lot of credence because only certain people saw that material. What changed the game was this. The rise of social media, and this app in particular, created a perfect storm of celebrity obsession, stan behavior, anonymous fan art. So academia could easily fall into those spaces and begin to proliferate because you could say these things anonymously without any backlash. With the decline of that app, a lot of people who believed in these things began to migrate to different platforms, especially this one in particular. The danger here was those crack brain ideas are beginning to mix in with real ideas that tied into like actual social justice work. And the problem now is to try to extricate those ideas from real work and real credible theories. These hateful septum ring theories are so intertwined with theories that may be beneficial to the collective that it's almost impossible to separate them. But you can be sure that whenever you hear a crack brain theory, it's usually being said by somebody with a septum ring. You think I'm exaggerating? Take a look. Septum ring. Septum ring.
Pro-black men are...
Septum ring. Are you getting the idea? So to sum up, septum ring theory is really just anti-black misandry glossed over with some 7-syllable words that make people sound good. And because the majority of people who sell this gibberish are melanated, it gives them cover. So they're not considered anti-black, and they can cover themselves with a veneer of pro-blackness.
We want to do your MTV Cribs, and I was like, oh, and the first thing they said was, all right, we got a couple of houses picked out for you. Wow. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, you know what? I got a house for y'all to come to. And yo, straight up, yo, like no BS, yo. They came to my crib and they walked in my door because I caught them off guard. They ain't have no clue on how I was living. So they walked up in my and they started looking around like, yo, you live up in here? I was like, yeah, I live up in here. My cousin was sleeping on the floor. And after I showed them the crib, they went outside and had a meeting.
Not a meeting.
And it was like a film crew of almost this size, and they dumbed it down to like 2 people. One camera guy and one sound guy, and that was it. Because that was all that could fit in my house. And they shot it, and at the end, they edited and whatever, and then we made magic.
I dropped that video in because I know a lot of us grew up on MTV. They trying to make a comeback, but it's not really hitting how it used to hit. Y'all know, like Pimp My Ride, MTV Cribs, but coming to find out like years later, centuries, or not centuries later, but decades later, I'm finding out these shows are fake. Oh yeah, and the reality shows. It's a bunch of stuff that came on MTV. So my little heart was broken because I'm thinking I'm watching stuff that's real. They living like this. They cars is getting flipped like this and boo, you know, all that, whatever this case is. Because they had dating shows on there too. Like, I don't know, y'all remember the show Next? Like, these shows are scripted and they're fake, which shows you that everything that is around us, everything that we see, I promise you is probably not even real. This is why this is my background, y'all. This is really what we're in. Like, you can't believe everything you see. You just, you really can't. But MTV, when I found that out, broke my heart. I said, ain't no way y'all out here lying and making shows up and scripting and adding stuff to it. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand scripts, fakeness sells. It's just like with YouTube with the pranks and stuff. When people do pranks or gold digger stuff and all this stuff that they're doing is scripted and is fake because entertainment is what attracts viewers. You have to entertain your customers, to keep them coming back. Everything is a game, y'all. Everything is a cycle. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys for sending over videos. Again, I'm actually catching up. Look, we out of August, now we in September. I know we're in February. I know, just bear with me. And it's funny because we're in February, but I'm still in January. So hello to my future self. And hello to the future y'all. But no, I truly love and appreciate you guys again. Keep sending over your videos. Make sure to cop some merch. Shop Perkyy. The link is in the description down below. Make sure to go check it out. Take pictures and tag me so I can add you onto the website, so I can shout you out. So not only do you get shouted out on my Instagram, but you also get shouted out on the website as well. All esteem, all glory, all honor, and all kabod goes to my Lord Yahuwah, my Adonai Yahushua HaMashiach, for blessing me with everything as a whole. I'm just a vessel that they were getting through, so I gotta give credit and honor where it is due. I'm done, y'all. This video an hour, but I know with the little cuts and all the little knickknacks I gotta take out, it's not gonna be an hour, but shout out to the hour that I put in today. But I love y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate you guys for all that you do. Y'all have a blessed one. I'll see you on the next one. Shalom, shalom.
You can't bring me down. I know who I belong to. Yeah. What? I won't sell my soul. I know my